Damn, this is not a video. Hey, hello everyone. So Matek is here back with another episode of this podcast called Only in Room 15B. Okay, so today I want to talk about few things, right? So the first one is that this podcast is being recorded later than it should have been, and then now people are up in distress, so there are noises in the kitchen, noises outside, and all the stuff. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was that a few weeks ago I was almost mugged, right? So here's how it happened. So outside, just at the back of this residence that we stay at, there is railway lines, right? And then with those railway lines there is a bridge, so cars move on top of that thing, and then underneath are those railway lines. So if you're a photographer like me, there is no way you wouldn't be attracted to those railway lines. The way they are the way they're beautiful in terms of taking pictures and doing all the stuff, right? So we went there, took another male model, and I briefed him saying, he knew as well, that place, there have been a lot of incidences regarding people getting mugged and all that stuff. So I asked the guy if he could run, and the guy said he was fine with running. So we went there, take a few pictures, and while we were at it, and then this train goes by, right? Also, the train goes by. Okay, so here's how the bridge is, right? So there is a bridge for the cars on top, right? And then there is this railway line, and then there is some other bridge as well for another railway line, right? This underneath bridge, most of the time it's those trains that carry stuff like oil and coal and whatever that they carry with those other trains, right? And then these on top, passenger trains. So while we were shooting there, this train comes in, the one that carries not passengers, but it's called what is it called? What do you call this thing? Damn, I've forgotten what do you call the luggage that this train carry. Okay, but it has an English name. So that happens, then we rush there to have this thing as our background while it's moving, and then take pictures. So while we move there, there comes also another train moving that way, right? So we move there, we take pictures, and then these four guys approach, right? You're thinking, okay, these guys maybe come from a train, some other train, or they're just moving, passing through, right? And then they pass through and they go behind us, right? So how it is that there is actually a path that goes through these railways to the road up the bridge, right? So these guys go behind us, and you would know most that the only way you would run, because the residence is just few meters behind us, there is no way we will just go forward with it. So the only way we would run was to these four guys, and if we did that, it would have been a problem, right? So we see these four guys moving to block us from going back, and then you see one other guy approaching from us in front, right? So these guys are already behind, and there's one guy approaching us, right? So if we have a chance of surviving here, there is only this guy, the one in front of us. That is our only survival. That is our only choice in terms of the easiest guy we could take out if we had to take someone out, right? So we say, okay, screw it, we're not going to these 4 guys because we're going to get murdered, right? So I had my camera, I had my tablet with me, I had my phone with me. So those things are gonna be lost. Okay, so it's sort of matter of life and death. So we say, okay, it's better that we just move from this bridge that we're on, because we're on the second bridge now below. We move up and then start approaching that one guy, right? When one guy hadn't even reached the path that moves from down up to the bridge where cars move, right? From where we are up to the bridge. So that guy, actually, if we were running, which is what we did, we actually got there before he even got to block us, right? The way the guy was running, so he saw that he couldn't like catch us with walking, so he started running as well. But we ran faster because the model and I were on high alert, and then we were able to reach the top of the bridge. So what happens when you reach the top of the bridge, I think, is one of the most important things that I've learned over the past few, or I've noticed over the past few weeks or whatever. So a car stops, and that guy saw that we were running. He stops and say, "Oh, what are you running from?" As we say, "No, there are 4 guys that were standing that side, and then one guy tried to block us this side. They wanted to take this camera, right?" And the guy asked if we saw what they looked like, if we took any pictures of them, and we didn't, right? I was carrying a camera, running with the camera instead of taking pictures of these people who were running. I didn't do that, so these people would have been caught. And this guy, being an upstanding citizen, we saw the next day, I think he reported the crime, or maybe was like a policeman or something like that, because the next day when I saw there were police cars parked. No, 1 car actually. I think there were 2 or 3 guys. It was parked there on that spot, right? The day after we sort of almost got robbed. So I'm thinking this guy is an upstanding was a citizen, right? Couldn't just sit while things like this happen in his community. And I think it's easier for me, like sort of treating myself as a kid. So at home, I'm a kid, so I don't work, so I still get was taken care of. So when there are meetings, community meetings, reporting crime, all those stuff, I think I don't take any responsibility regarding those things, because I don't think it's my duty. But I've seen that maybe if I do something about those things that happen in my community, maybe I could have some change being like introduced to the community, right? As well as here. So this place, Belleville, it's different from where I come from, right? So I'm from KZN, if you don't know, and deep rural areas. So I think even when I'm in Durban, not in rural areas in Durban, I stay in like a Kasi, sort of. There's only a few instances where you hear police sirens going on, people being chased and all that stuff. But here, it happens almost every night that you hear cars going all the time. I'm thinking the level of crime in this area it's really high, because now I've even seen the videos, right? So there's these gangs and whatever. So that's something we don't know of where I come from. That there are people who gonna like be a group and go on killing the other group and whatever. That was something new to me. Right. I think that was what I wanted to talk about, relating to me almost getting robbed. Oh, and also one other thing, the way that guy, okay, so that guy started running when he saw that he couldn't reach us, and he was pretty far. He started running, and I wish, whenever I'm running for something, I would run like that guy, because that guy had the confidence to go on and try to take my 7,000 rand camera, right? Because he was running for it, right? That was his aim. I think he was convinced that he's actually going to get this camera for free. And the one I worked for months, that guy was just gonna grab it for free. It taught me to actually be more confident with my goals, with whatever I want in my life. If there are guys that can just run for things that they haven't spent a cent trying to like acquire, if they can run with that much dedication, how far then can I run in terms of going for things that I actually work for? So there was some sort of motivation from the confidence of that guy, the confidence he had to actually come and try to take a 7,000 rand camera from me. I wasn't actually gonna give the guy, so someone was going to die if it had to come to that, because now you can't just save for 2-3 months and then have someone take that thing in 5 minutes. That one can't work. Things aren't that easy. Maybe I would say that maybe I'm ignorant or whatever, but if you work for stuff, it doesn't make sense that someone should be able to just take it in a second, unless they have a gun. And I've tried or thought of ways of taking that gun from them, and maybe those ways wouldn't work. Then maybe I would actually let them take it. Still unlikely though. Okay, moving on to maybe if I had insurance as well, maybe. But insurance would have been like, those guys I think would have been like, oh, okay, you're staying at this place, you have security, so we have security here, this rest, everything is secure, but you chose to go out in this area where you know well that there are incidences where people get robbed or almost get robbed in this area. What were you thinking? And because of that, then no man, we're not gonna actually allow you to claim. I think I had a case like that few weeks or months ago. Where's this accident insurance? Pay because diabetes or something like that. Yeah, I think I recently had something like that. Was it this year or last year? I think it happened also in USA. I'm thinking. Okay, this is an old story. I think it's from here in South Africa. But insurance companies, these guys make a lot of money, right? And you pay them to have your back whenever you might happen to actually need these guys. But when you need them, they want all this nonsense, all this sort of proof, right? So they want, like with your car, I've heard that the car must stay in a guarded place, it must be safe, checkups, driving, the places you drive in must not like get into places where it's high alert, it's known that your car might get robbed and all this stuff, right? They have all these what's this, rules and things that must be satisfied before they can actually pay. Makes sense from a business standpoint, but what's this? From business standpoint, it makes sense. My English has left me. But morally, that was what I'm trying to say. Morally, it doesn't make sense that I pay you men to have my back whenever I'm having trouble, and then that time of trouble comes and then you can't pay me. That's a problem. Okay, so yeah, I think this story, it's about a guy was shot dead, right? Yeah, he was shot dead, so he supposed to receive his like life insurance policy, but this guy or the company said, no man, you're not gonna get this insurance policy because you had or this guy had high blood pressure. Like hell. How did these two connect, man? Because now was this, I was shot. That's how I died. I didn't die because, or this guy didn't die because he had diabetes or high blood pressure, but he died because he was shot, right? Life insurance policy, he's dead, he's supposed to receive that thing, right? Fair and square. But they say, okay, no, you didn't disclose this, so no, we're not gonna pay. And I think as well, I haven't signed anything relating to life insurances and whatever, anything relating to insurance, but I've seen people going through with this stuff. I think the problem is also with the T's and C's, right? Terms and conditions with these contracts and whatever. I think they put in a lot of stuff there to actually what's this? A lot of stuff that they know that you actually won't read, and then when it comes to you claiming the thing, it becomes a problem. I think also they require to retain your sleep whenever you're buying something. So if your house happens to burn down, you have to have a sleep of whatever. How would you have a sleep if the house burned down or whatever was inside, right? There has to be a proof that you own whatever those things are. But then that doesn't make sense as well. So if my house burns down and the sleeps are in the house, how am I supposed to have proof that that thing was there? No, maybe you declare your items, right? I'm thinking maybe you're supposed to declare. So when you're buying a TV, you're supposed to add it to insurance. You sort of send them a copy of the receipt and say, hey guys, I've just bought a TV, so under my insurance include that. So whenever my house burns down, you're supposed to pay for the TV as well. Here's proof that I paid for it. I think that's the only way that this thing would work. I am not researched on this topic. I don't know anything relating to it, so not sure. So someone should help in that case, right? What else I want to talk about? Let me see. Other than this Samsung thing, yeah, I want to talk about outstanding community members, right? And also let's go to what's this, entertainment news. So last night I was very happy actually to see Elon Musk, as you guys say, Elon Musk hosting Meme Review. If you don't know what Meme Review is, it's a show by, who's this guy? It's a show by PewDiePie. So there is one every week. There is one every week. So what happens is there is an app called, or website called Reddit, right? So on Reddit to create your subreddit, or you create your account, right? It's called subreddit or whatever. So people can submit or say stuff to you under that subreddit, right? So there's PewDiePie submissions. So people create memes and then they put them under that thing. So they are upvoted. So whichever gets most most votes gets to be reviewed or gets to be included. Now I think I'm mixing the shows. Right? It's two things. Okay, so the subreddit consists of two things, right? There is Luai, then there is meme review, right? Luai is where memes are submitted, as I was saying, but meme review is something like, okay, here's this meme, it's actually everywhere, so it's on Twitter, Facebook, and whatever. So maybe if you don't know what a meme is as well, so maybe an event happens, like your what happened if you watched YouTube Rewind last year. So Will Smith said he was looking on those things and he said, damn, that's hot. So people were actually using that, damn, that's hot, and actually replacing whatever Will Smith was saying there and making that a meme, right? So when PewDiePie is reviewing memes, he'll review that meme, the whole thing, that, ooh, that's hot, all the memes that are made under that banner, sort of under that idea of that's hot, and looking under that thing, he'd review that meme. I think out of 10 he'd give his hilarious was his comments and then the rating. So if you didn't know as well, PewDiePie is in a battle. I think we're almost losing in this battle up against was this a company called T-Series, right? It's an Indian music platform, sort of, where they upload music videos and all other type of content, right? And these guys, they have like 80 something million subscribers, similar to PewDiePie, and they are about to surpass him, right? So in this fight, a lot of people have been like sort of invited to actually help in fighting against this company, right? So Elon Musk, yesterday, the guy is very much interested in memes. I think he also bought like a website called Shank Memes instead of Dank Memes. I think Dank Memes was taken, so he has Shank Memes. I'm not sure what he's planning on doing with that, but yeah, he's good with memes. So yesterday he reviewed some of the memes and gave them rating, and the thing was actually very fun. It was bonus memes. And speaking of Elon Musk, there is also another thing. He was on the news about a few weeks. Was it few weeks? No, I think it was last week actually. There is an article writing robot, right? Let me see. Article writing robot by a company. I think it's a startup. It's backed by Elon Musk. So this startup, in its research, I think it's OpenAI, right? Yeah, I think it's OpenAI. Yeah, I think it's OpenAI. So this company, OpenAI, they developed sort of in a Okay, can't get anything to confirm, but so what they did is in their research they fed this robot millions and millions of articles, right? So while feeding it these articles, they sort of teaching it how to write articles, sort of, and then whenever you start maybe a few sentences or a sentence, then the thing will continue to actually write an article, state facts, and do whatever journalists do whenever they're writing articles. Problem is that article would be fake, and that article will actually have no grammar mistakes, right? That article will be fake and it will have no grammar mistakes. So the potential for disaster with that thing, it's actually very much high, to the point that these guys didn't actually release all their not their findings, sort of, I think their code. They didn't release all of the things they used with the research. They actually used or released only a few things that I think other companies need and sort of continue the research or something like that. But it's a very dangerous app, or what do you call, it's a very dangerous program to have, that a robot that will write stories actually. So we've seen that, I think, with the last election in the US, that actually fake news has the ability to shape countries now. So Russia and whatever, I think there's been a lot of proof that there were bots, not bots but accounts from Russia, from like Russia farms, computer farms, that were responsible for spreading news against Hillary Clinton. And that thing was, I think, operated by humans most of the time. So imagine having a robot that would write stories, fake stories, and that, and have them being written professionally. And that would actually be a catastrophe for democracy, as we've seen with the US. And also another thing, business-wise, that will actually make for a lot of money having that robot, because maybe, let's say, generates, let's have like, I don't know, thousands of pages or websites, and then let's have this robot write stories for each and every one of these websites, and then let's put ads on that website, on those websites, right? I think within a few days you'd make a lot of money selling those fake news, because people will click, and actually when reading, the thing is like making sense, and it would be hard for anyone to actually say that this is fake when it's written like a normal human or journalist would actually write. Yeah, that's what's relating to Elon Musk. I think that's what we're talking about. Oh, and also there's this also relating to these what's this, startups and robots and all that stuff. There's this also research by Nvidia, I'm not sure what it's called, the technology that they've sort of, I think it's called picture generator or something like that. So what happens here is, okay, I'm supposed to stop the recording. Okay, I can continue the recording now. So the thing was full, so I had to restart. Okay, so what happened is, this company Nvidia, if you don't know Nvidia, they make graphics cards. So graphics, most of the time, I think they are one of the, it's called VRAM sometimes, it's one of the most important things when with the computers, right? So the better your graphics card, the better all of our future technologies will be, not just computers and laptops we're talking machine learning, right? Processing large quantities of data requires GPUs, right? CPUs and GPUs. So with GPUs, most of the time, all the things that are was related to graphics, right, and large chunks of information, and those are what companies like Nvidia deal with. And also they've been in the news for things like so when was the bubble? Excuse. The bubble was, when was it? I think it was the end of 2017, the cryptocurrency bubble, and those guys were running out of their GPUs. So people were buying GPUs at that time to actually mine cryptocurrency. So that was what was happening. So actually the prices for GPUs got so high that most people couldn't afford them for just their normal computers. It was actually they were out of stock in most websites. If not out of stock, people would buy them and resell them for maybe 3-4 times the retail price. So yeah, that thing was, I think that was one of the highest things that happened to Nvidia, like the last time they were on the news or something like that. And then this time around, on their research, I think let's go to Nvidia picture generating a robot or something. Yeah, so what happens is I think they fed these robots or artificial intelligence, they fed it data, right? In terms of styles, faces, smiles, age, hairstyle. I think also, what else? Expressions, facial expressions. Yeah, I think they fed it a lot of data relating to how a human face is composed, right? All the action relating to human face, whatever the movements, aging, and whatever that happens with the face of a person. Okay, so there's someone in the kitchen watching. So also living in those residences off campus, not off campus, but just living with students in general. I'm not sure how these people will survive in the outside world. I think most people grow up in mostly black. They grow up in Ekasi and whatever, where a guy will just wake up and blast music to the highest point that his system could get to, and then everyone has to listen to that music no matter what you're doing now. This guy is important. Whatever the music he's playing, we are supposed to actually listen to it. I think it's a problem, like living with people and you do that sort of stuff, because now whenever I'm recording and whatever, and you start with your music, it's an issue. You can't live with people where you're making noise. I think living in apartments and stuff like that, where people can actually complain, these guys will actually have a problem, because they can't live with people while making this much noise. And some of them get drunk and they shout all night, right? it's very much a problem. Okay, so I was talking about Nvidia, and they are like learning robots or something like that. So they fed this information to this robot. So how it happens is this thing learns everything, even faces with glasses. They learn pretty much everything, every movement, everything about each muscle that's in the body. Then they have hundreds of styles and whatever that you could choose from, and the result is this thing builds up faces that don't exist, right? Realistic images of people that don't exist. You could change, like you see a person change from a girl to a boy, and then their face changes, and even them, say the hair, the amount of variables is actually fascinating. Variables involved with the making of a human face. Even with the hair, they actually this precise that you would find that mostly people with like curly hair, long hair, you'd find that there are differences. You could actually make a difference by adjusting something with the way the hair is actually was mixed up, sort of. So you know that when you push up your hair, it's like that, or maybe it's all over your face or to this side. And this thing, there are variables like determining the randomness of the arrangement of it, the strands of each hair strand. So see them change one by one. So I'm thinking, damn, the amount of calculations that must go through with that thing. And then they make actual images. So I was talking about this Elon Musk bad company. Combine that with this, right? Imagine what could happen there, because now we have fake images, people don't exist. So there is no potential for anyone suing. So as I was saying, if you're running this fake news company or whatever, combine these two technologies and you have something very was malicious, to say the least. Because now this this other robot will create what? This other robot will create the articles, and this other one will create the images. Combine the two together, you have articles being generated minute by minute, being provided to thousands of websites, those websites being visited by millions of people, and you making millions if not billions in maybe say weeks or a year. And you are changing the civilization of other, like you are disturbing everything that happens in the world. You have that sort of power, right? So I'm thinking people like Elon Musk, he's been like very very strict in terms of warning against the dangers of artificial intelligence. I think people haven't been paying attention to the guy, and I think it has come to that level. Although it's not threatening, because now those things aren't in the hands of wrong people, and I don't see any way, unless maybe there's a leak, because these things happen most. You leak maybe gigs of data from Nvidia, gets public, like their code for this image generating thing, and then the code in that company as well, OpenAI, although their security systems may be like top level, top notch, but it happens in every company that information would leak, right? So, or maybe an employee just takes the information for themselves. So that code leaks, and then someone has enough computer power to actually run those systems, and they run them, they make websites, and then they change everything, right? So there is actually too much danger involved with these things. I think too much caution. It cannot be over like emphasized, the amount of caution and that has to be taken when dealing with this sort of stuff, right? Technology, it's going places that no one ever imagined a few years ago. And if people are not taking guys like Elon Musk very seriously, it's gonna be a problem, right? So I'm thinking that's combining those two, but these are completely non-related parties. But Nvidia is big enough, I think, to buy this OpenAI startup. They put it under them, so they have now both. They would have both this image generating thing and this article writing robot, right? But I think there are other interesting applications for these things. I'm thinking maybe graphics would get so good that you'd actually have people now being generated, people that don't exist. So instead of actual actors, you would have these fake people, and you would make movies, and then that other robot would run lines. So combining the two, you'd have like an industry that creates 50 movies to say in a month. That's something good. Entertainment for life. Maybe. I think there are a lot of possibilities, a lot of applications for this sort of technology, and a lot of ways also it can be misused. Yeah. And then moving on to another interesting thing I saw this week, that is to talk about, it's the Samsung phones. Alright, so Samsung, if you don't know, they introduced 4 phones this week. It's the Galaxy Fold, a foldable phone, big one, tablet or something like that. Then the S10, S10 Plus, S10e. Right, so I have comments regarding this thing. As you would know, I watched this presentation of theirs. I think with these presentations, right, most of the time people involved in tech, most of the time there is are people that are not are not that much good with crowds, right? Most of the time, like programmers and all those type of people are people who sort of closed systems and whatever, right? Like people who are anxious, talking in public, and all those stuff. I understand it. I've changed a bit, so I'm not that. I wasn't scared of people, but I just didn't like spending time with a lot of people. A few months back, it has actually improved now. So what happens is, so I'm thinking these guys practice a lot when it comes to making events like this, presenting phones and all the new gadgets. They practice a lot, and they practice every word of it. I think that's the problem. They're making them robots now. That's the issue here. So you will see that, and think where are the issues that I was having? Where are the issues? So whenever they say something interesting, right, something that they've achieved, something very good that has been done by the company, maybe they've innovated in terms of whatever aspect of a cell phone that they've sort of made a major leap in, these guys would actually sort of wait for a clapping, for an applause. It's called a clapping or an applause. They'd actually wait for people to actually clap their hands for the system, right? That's not how it works. So you're not supposed to actually wait. Those people would say that after saying that thing, they expect something from the crowd. And I'm thinking this is actually written in the script that the crowd is supposed to clap. And even one lady, I think it was the marketing lady or whatever, she would actually clap whenever she would say something that is considered that innovative, sort of 12 people then clap after her. I'm thinking, why is there a need for that in the first place? Why don't you just present whatever you're supposed to present, whatever you want to say, whatever is good with your camera, whatever you think is the reason that this phone should be bought? Why don't you just focus on selling me on that dream or on that train, and forget about making me clap? It was actually weird. It was cringy, sort of. I think they over practice those events, and it's actually making it non-human, right? Say these phones does this, and also those guys who were doing demos, they were shaking. Damn, it was too much. I think they over practiced, and then when it comes to having the actual crowd, it's a different story. They weren't relaxed at all, but maybe under the same circumstances, maybe would have behaved the same. But I think the too much practice part is the reason that some of this stuff just doesn't work. What's this? It doesn't work on stage, right? So if you watch my video, I think I actually did a video about this, you'll see that I actually don't like these companies always using AI, innovation, intelligence, and whatever all the time. It's actually they do something just a little bit, then they busy with AI, innovation, intelligence, and sometimes this case was actually reminding us that it's been 10 years of these Galaxy phones. It was something big with their with their presentation, and they also talked about billions of people. Hey, there were so much like emphasizing that idea of billions of people. Not sure about billions of people. Maybe Samsung makes a lot of different devices. Maybe they are used by billions of people concurrently, which is unlikely. Maybe they've sold billions of phones. That's can't be like disputed, but them being used by billions of people at the same time, unlikely thing to be possible, because now we have countries like China, and you have companies like Huawei, you have Xiaomi, you have whatever. So unlikely thing. And then there's an iPhone as well, so I'm not sure about that idea if it's good. So with this phone, the big phone and tablet, sort of a Galaxy Fold, 12 gigs of RAM, 512 memory. That's what they said. They said it has 2 batteries as well. I'm thinking on either side, so the thing closes and opens to being a tablet. So they said there's batteries on both sides. I think all those. Oh, this phone costs 1980. Okay, Samsung is doing something good here, like they are breaking new grounds, sort of. But damn, $1,980. That's excluding tax and import duties coming this side. It's too much. I don't think I'll see anyone having that phone here in South Africa, unless for other than maybe for celebrities and brand ambassadors like Mems Maponyan and whatever. But normal people wouldn't buy a phone for 27,000. Not at this stage, I think. So yeah, good cameras overall. I think I discussed most of these things, so you could go and watch my video about this thing. And then they have this HDR10, so that's that other phone. So I'm done with that phone. And that phone has 6 cameras, a lot of cameras. So with this, there's 10 now. They've I think 3 cameras. I'm thinking it's 3 cameras, then 1 in front or something like that. And they record 8K, I think that's what they said. The back cameras recorded 8K. Not sure, 8K or 4K. But 8K is just too much overkill. 4K is still fine. It's something good to have, but nah, man, 8K. Imagine recording at 8K then trying to what's this, edit that thing. Oh, what I was happy about with their HDR10 thing they mentioned with video. So I think it's color grading frame by frame. I think it's adjustments of colors frame by frame. I'm thinking that would make for an actually good video. And I think they are Exynos chip. I think it's 9820 or 92080, 920 or something like that. They are newest chip. I think that's one of the best chips I think it's the best chips they ever made. Obviously it's the latest one, and the processing power and that thing can actually do 8K with no problem, and they have like more memory and stuff. They talked about their screens. I think everyone knows that Samsung makes the best screens in the game, so their phones will always have the best screens in time. They also talked about ecosystem, a lot of this stuff, right? So it's actually good. Oh, they also made good Galaxy Buds now, so I think it's something to compete with your AirPods, something like that. Not bad. I think these will actually do well with their reverse charging on their phones as well. So whenever your earphones go offline or run out of juice, you just put them at the back of your phone and then they start charging. That was something interesting. Okay, I think that's all with that event. You can just go read up on the other features. Oh, and also ultrasonic sensor, right? So let's I think ultrasonic, it's something has to do with waves. That's what I'm thinking. Damn, yes. Of involving sound waves, the frequency of human hearing. Okay, ultrasonic, yes, it involves waves. Alright, I'm thinking this a new implementation by Samsung. It's not actually pictures. So I'm thinking with the early versions of the in-screen fingerprint sensor, it was actually just taking pictures and then comparing the two. Not sure, but I think that's what happened. With this one, it's ultrasonic, so there are sound waves that are actually bouncing off your finger, actually making sure that it's actually your finger. It's something closer to having actually a bionic security system, other than having it take a picture, sort of, to speak. So I'm thinking this is Samsung most like. They make good, they're a big company, so that's what I always thought when these websites like The Verge and whatever, they're talking about these Chinese companies saying, oh, this company was the first to make. It doesn't matter, who cares if this company is the first to make in-screen fingerprint sensor, because we know if it's not Samsung, Apple, or maybe Google, HTC, those companies that we actually know and have grown to trust, that these Chinese companies don't be that good. I think that one we know. Cheap phones have gotten good or better, and that one can't be denied, but you can't just go compare a phone with a new phone with what's this, a company that's been here for years. These websites try to do that all the time. I think it's most of the time it's not something that they believe, it's something that they know that who would click to. It's called clickbait in YouTube language. So if you have a clickbait, it's clickable, sort of a title that someone will most likely click, and then you make that the title, make it sort of controversial and all that, then boom, that's it. What's the other thing? I started watching The Punisher after Eminem tweeted that Netflix is doing okay. That's all about tech, right? I think I'm done with that. I think after I'm done talking about tech, so I'm moving on to something. I think I'm done right now with this podcast, right? I'm just checking the other news now, but all the things that I wanted to talk about, I think I've covered all of them. So Eminem tweeted about Netflix cancelling a series called, what's the name of the series? A Punisher. He wasn't very impressed with that, and I've started watching the series as well. It's not bad actually. It's actually good, given that I've only watched 5 episodes. Yeah, here's the article as well. Yeah, I'm thinking that's it. Ferrari wrecked in a sudden crash. Damn, sensing Ferrari in sensing. I think that's appropriate to say. Ferrari in sensing. Sensing is somewhere people. So see, when you're wanting to stay in Joburg, whoever you are, you want to stay in sensing. That's where the rich people stay. Ferrari torn in half. It's hard to, you see, with these rich people problems, sort of, it's hard to feel okay. Although you wouldn't wish that the person involved here actually died and whatever, but man, it's a Ferrari, right? It's a Ferrari. I think it's William Nicole. No, I've seen this name. Who is this? I think I've seen this name somewhere. Lamppost. Damn, breaks in half. How did that happen? If a Ferrari was broken in half, driver lost control, smashed into the lamppost. Damn, William Nicole drive. Damn, William Nicole. William Nicole is not a person. I know that I've heard this somewhere. William Nicole Drive. I think that's the name of the road. Driver escaped injury, but his passenger woman sustained moderate. Damn. The guy survived, and the passenger as well. So I think nobody died. Damn, he was going fast. Woo! So actually split the car in half. Okay, let me record the screen here so that you could see as well. Screen recorder cannot launch because another user is currently running the program. Who's that user now? Where is that program? Damn. Okay, screen recorder won't launch. Ah, fuck. Okay, I think it won't launch because I'm also recording audio on this thing. Damn, I wanted to show you the pictures. Okay, just take a screenshot. So this is for the people who watch the video. The car broke in half. How damn, this person must have been going very fast to actually break the car in half. That's what happened here. Damn. Okay, so he survived. As I was saying, it's hard to feel okay. As I was saying, you wouldn't want someone to die, obviously, but also it's a Ferrari, man. What are you doing driving a Ferrari in the first place? Yeah, as I was saying, these are sort of like a rich person problems. And then there's this thing about ESCOM, right? ESCOM. So if you live in South Africa, you'll know what ESCOM is. If you don't live in South Africa, ESCOM is our provider of electricity, of power, energy in South Africa. So this is a state-owned entity. Few weeks back, the company started having they started having problems, things that we haven't seen, I think, in years. It's called load shedding. When they certain days, there are stages. So in certain days, you'd lose electricity for 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, right? So then the president wasn't pleased, and says, okay, no, Eskom, we've had enough, man. So these companies, most of the time, these companies, these government-owned entities, it's called SOCs or something like that, state-owned entities, SOEs, something of that nature. So then this guy says, okay, these companies aren't making any profit. Most of the time, they are actually bailed out by the government. It's Eskom, then, and that's our like energy supplier. Then there is SAA, right? SAA is always in trouble. If it's not SAA, then it's SABC, our broadcaster, always in trouble with money as well. And there is always problems. So this guy, the president, says, okay, I've had enough of this problem. We're actually gonna split Eskom into 3, right? We're gonna have Eskom, I think it's the generator, the distributor, or whatever, but all the processes, the major processes that are involved with Eskom, they're gonna be split into 3 entities, and then that's how the power is gonna be supplied in South Africa. All right. Problem with that, people are having conspiracy theories, right? So this guy, who's this guy? The president right now. What's the name of the president? Ramaphosa. This guy, his wife is the brother, is the sister. Damn, not the brother. Is the sister to what's his name? Is the sister to Petrus Motsepe. If you don't know who Petrus Motsepe is a South African first black billionaire, right? So this guy is into mining. He's very much rich and he's done a lot for South Africa, right? His sister is married to the president, and the energy minister is also married to, I think, his sister as well, if it's not his daughter, but it's something like that. So the energy minister is married to his sister, not the energy minister, the president, and the energy minister is also married to someone related to, let me check. So who's the energy minister? It's James Newman, I think. It's James Newman. No, Jeff Hadebe. Wife. Yeah, it's Petrus Motsepe's sister as well. So you will know that people, it wouldn't sit well with people when the energy minister, someone who's having like direct access to Eskom, and then the president, someone who has having direct access to like state-owned companies and the country. These people are also both married to the people from the Motsepe family, are saying that Eskom must be divided or whatever. So people are saying, okay, maybe this is some business transaction that would actually benefit the Motsepe family. And these are all allegations, and yeah, I think it makes sense to say I don't know anything about politics and shouldn't have any comments to say, because I don't know, I'm not very much informed. I don't follow a lot of politics, So yeah, I don't follow a lot of stuff sports wise. I don't follow sports as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna talk about all the other news the next time I come here. For now, there is actually a lot to talk about with tech. There is SpaceX in the news and whatever, but it's not things that I'm actually that much informed to actually talk and make conversations about, right? So this has been the podcast by Somadegisi. I'll talk to you next week. Hopefully you have a good week ahead, and yeah, try to stay alive and don't smash your Ferrari in half if you happen to have a Ferrari in the first place. And yeah, have a good one. Peace.